Hey, what's happening? Nick here from VirtualAssistantAssistant.com. Today, I'm joined by Jeremy from Sidekicks.co. It's a new upstart virtual assistant company. Jeremy, what's happening, man?
Hey Nick, hey everyone. I'm in Austin, Texas today, and just down by the water, hanging
I
out.
was I was just envious of his outdoor Wi-Fi, and he showed me he's got a little 4G hotspot. So I thought that was pretty slick. So, uh, what's the deal? How long you guys been around?
Yeah, so Sidekicks, we launched March 11th, 2015, so like 8 months ago from now, or 7 months ago, and yeah, we're a new company on the scene. I've been outsourcing to the Philippines and actually at every other country for the last 4 years. So a lot of the systems and processes that we use for Sidekicks I've been developing for a number of years, but officially we launched in March. So we're a new company to the scene.
Relatively new, but growing pretty quickly. How many on your team now?
Yeah, we've got about, I think the total team would be around 50, and it's been great. Yeah, we've been growing really fast, and we've had a waiting list since we started, and I think part of it's because the founders, we've all been in business for a while now. We're part of a lot of communities, and it was a service that people were asking us to do. So when we launched it, we already had a big draw, so to speak.
Yeah, it sounds like that's the way to go. So your VAs they're in a call center or are they working from home?
Yeah, Sidekicks is all virtual. So all our VAs are work from home, and we're opening up an office next month in the Philippines, but it's more of like a infrastructure thing. So we're creating hubs in the major cities, and people can work from home, or they can go to the office and use the internet there, or the power goes out or whatever. But
Okay.
in general, we're part of the philosophy is to give people the opportunity to work from home and save having to drive a couple hours to an office somewhere. So we're big on those types of values, so to speak.
So it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like, hey, we're targeting a very startup-y, small businessy type of customer. Have you found those are the people who are most drawn to this, or you figure like those are your more ideal clients?
Yeah, well, it's always in a startup, and this is just like a general principle thing. It's always good to stay close to your network, right? Because a startup, you're limited with resources, so as much as possible, stay where you know people and where you thrive. But for me, I've been in startups and online things for a number of years, and so have our co-founders. So yeah, that was our initial customer base. But really, the future of Sidekicks and where things are going now is for teams. We're really focusing on giving people with 4 or 5 people on their team one assistant, so that they can all be more productive and share them across the board, right? Rather than one person to one VA. I know that's a real typical model, but
Yeah.
a lot of our clients now are, they're teams and they're growing companies that, it lets everyone be more productive and focus on the stuff that they're really talented at, like everything other than admin stuff.
Okay, so rather than having that admin assistant in your office for your team of 4 or 5 people, hey, they're going to be in the Philippines or they're going to be in Argentina. What was it? Something about, hey, we've got some South America VAs too?
Yeah, so like I said, I've hired people all over the world and for a number of our companies in the past. And yeah, South America is a great place for the time zone. We're focusing on the Philippines right now, but that's kind of early stage for us, is getting our South American assistants, US graduates or whomever is living down there and working US time zone. Some clients prefer US time zone, some don't mind. So we're offering both, but that's still kind of early days. Right now our main drive is the Philippines, and really building that and growing that out.
Yeah, no, I had a VA in Panama for quite some time, and it was great to not have to worry about. I think she was like 2 hours ahead of me, and then there was daylight savings, and she was only like 1 hour ahead of me, so it was great time zone wise. But if you can make the Philippine stuff work, that is fantastic. I want to ask, why hire through Sidekicks if this person's going to be working from home? Why hire through your company versus going through online jobs or going through Upwork or something and just finding somebody on my own?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So Sidekicks is a bit of a different philosophy. Like a lot of, and you've probably seen this before, like a lot of people, businesses, I guess smaller businesses, are just worried about getting shit done, so to speak. Like I have these tasks and get this stuff done, and that's cool, especially when you're a smaller business, because that's all you can really think about is making sure it's working and that's going on. But Sidekicks, and we've always been interested in social projects, right? Like really developing things in a way that add value, not just to our companies, but people's lives and what's going on there. And for years when I was working with Filipinos, there was so much that wasn't available to them, like education-wise, like the networks that they could develop through personally, adding value to their communities with whatever that means, or just some of the general benefits and across the board. So Sidekicks for me and for the team was really about initially, how do we do what we love to do, is build stuff and do it in a way that really, really impacts the people's lives in the Philippines on a real transformative way, right? Like, how can we improve their lives, period? And I think a lot of smaller businesses don't really have the capacity or the resources to like think about that. So we're not really talking with a lot of real early stage startup people. We're more interested in people who are set up and doing good things and want to work with a company that's also doing good things across the board, right? And our motto is really employees first. It's really actually community first, and then employees, and then clients, and then shareholders. But for the simplicity, it's employees first. So a lot of the online jobs and a lot of those places, it's great. You can work with someone one-on-one, but with Sidekicks, we've developed a community now where people have a real wonderful internal network for their professional life to grow with each other, and also like all our health. Like we have all these health content people can read about, and we have naturopaths and folks that produce content for our team. So it's a bit more of a family-centered model, right, rather than an individual one-on-one.
Yeah, trying to build that company culture or that community, even if people are working from home, working remotely.
Absolutely, and a good example of that. So we've got we were doing a lot of Amazon clients in the past, and one thing that's been great is like we have these groups online where they're like 12 in a group, and they're all Amazon type VAs, and they have Amazon clients, and they workshop together, right? Like when one has a question, they have 12 other people to talk with and mastermind with, and there's multiple groups, and they've all got coaches. So every VA's got a coach, and the coaches know all the other coaches. So a lot of the problems and issues, because I've been in part of a lot of mastermind groups, and the value of that's been immense, right? Like you have so much access to business content, advice, strategies, all that. So we're creating that same model for our VAs and company culture, so that they can just be the best, and likewise around health and around relationships and all those main topics which are really important for them, right? How to save money and da.
You mentioned the Amazon business. This is the Amazon like physical product shipping FBA type business.
Yeah, so I one of my companies is an Amazon company. It's been doing really well, and of course I've got lots of friends in that scene there. So we were doing Amazon clients because I was friends with them. But
okay,
we're not so much like some companies niche down. Like we do Amazon thing, we do marketing stuff. Like we're more about doing great culture, because when you have the great culture, you get the best people, right? They come on board, and everything works up from there. So that's more of our go. It's not so much like, oh yeah, we're marketing specialists. It's like we're just good people, good community, good culture specialists, and trying to do it in a very professional way.
Have you run into any, like, I don't necessarily need to hear like client horror stories, but have you run into anybody who's just like not a good fit? Like if anybody's watching, like who should not hire you?
Oh yeah, for sure. And we'll let you know right away. So, anyone who's not, like we have a minimum of people doing $500,000 a year in revenue. Sorry, that's a boat there. So anyone who's doing less than $500,000 in revenue is not a fit for us. Like our thing is like $500,000 to $5 million a year. That's great. So people whom aren't employee focused, right? Like this kind of the whole sleazy, smooth internet marketing community. Like we're not interested in that at all. People whom really value their employees and their clients. Like we had one issue before where some client was like kind of writing emails that were a little bit abusive to the staff, like making them feel inferior, so to speak. And like we stopped that contract that day, and it was over, right? So none of that. Like most of the people that we work with, and to give you a profile, are like professional. They're pros, they've been in business for more than 2 or 3 years. They're organized, they understand systems and processes. And if they don't, they're interested in learning them. So that's one thing we help people with, is understanding how to really systemize and organize your operation so it can scale. But anyone who's not on that level, it's fine. It's just not the best fit for us, because our team and people are very outcome oriented. They understand processes and systems, how to build that, how to manage that, how to push things forward. You know, they're a bit like Scrum masters, like, hey, where are the goals? Like, hey, when is this going to get done? Like keeping that philosophy going all the time, rather than just like waiting for a task. Like, uh. So
Yeah. What's next, boss? What am I doing? Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Okay.
And you know, our clients are willing to pay more because we put a lot of effort on the back end to keep things really professional, tight. We have lots of education. We've got lots of. It's just most of the companies I worked with in the past with VAs, they just were a bit underperforming, so to speak, on the operation side of stuff. So that's why we started this, was just do a better job, create a better culture, and we're, you know, we're a funded company, and it's just a lot of things we're choosing to push forward on, so to speak.
Sounds like it's off to a hot start, man. So of course, right after I compliment Jeremy's 4G Wi-Fi thing or hotspot thing, he cuts off on us. So where we left off, he was about to offer a special deal for virtual assistant visitors. At the time of this recording, that is a 25% off your first month of Sidekicks service. I'm going to link that up below this video on YouTube and below this video on VirtualAssistantAssistant.com. Thanks so much for checking out this interview with Jeremy from Sidekicks.co, and I'll catch you in the next edition of whatever video I do. We'll talk to you soon.